Crouse.
Well, it's funny because I wouldn't have thought of The Toxic Avenger, the movie, which I'm very familiar. You know, I love that movie.
Yeah, sure.
But I wouldn't have thought of it as a musical. Now to know that there are not one, the one that's playing in Toronto, but that there's actually 3 musicals kicking around out there. What do you think it is about the material that has drawn people to it and had them decide, you know what, a couple of tunes, a few dance numbers, this would make a great musical?
Well, again, the films that I've made are very colorful. I've always loved prime color. I've always had some singing on screen and dancing on screen. The Smithereens performed in the Class of Newcomb High Part 1. I've had in Waitress, we've got a Duke Ellington song. In Toxic Avenger Part 2, there's a big fight scene choreographed to Duke Ellington. It's like a ballet. It's choreographed to Duke Ellington's it ain't got that. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. And Tulip a Turnip is on screen in Waitress. So we've had kind of like musical videos within our movies from the beginning. And I think the fact that I love musicals, there's a certain amount of ballet. You know, these fight scenes in our films are choreographed. I mean, they're more like dances than anything else. And movies are closely related to music anyway. So I guess people just sort of got the idea that this would be an interesting idea for, the Toxic Avenger would be indeed a musical. Chinese studies, which I majored in at Yale, the yin and the yang, Taoism is what I learned. That's what I came away with. I came away with a lot more, and including some venereal diseases on my visits to Southeast Asia. But I came away with the Taoism, which teaches about yin and yang and how the sign, the yin and yang sign, and you can't have good without evil. They're together, rich and poor, smart and dumb. The oyster gets a piece of sand stuck in its anus and creates this beautiful pearl, and pain and pleasure, all that stuff. So why not this movie that seems totally grotesque, totally horrible, totally violent and erotic, basically hardcore, almost hardcore sex. Meanwhile, why not? Why not? It can be a beautiful musical. And actually, Rodgers and Hammerstein, they're very dark. South Pacific is a very dark film, and boy, Sound of Music, all of this, they're pretty. Lorenz Hart too, Rodgers and Hart. You check out Pal Joey. That's a dark show. It's all based on John O'Hara's very dark short story. And you end up at the end of Pal Joey, which was Pal Joey was a huge success. It's been revived numerous times. There's all sorts of sex in it, and for its day, it must have been hot as a firecracker. And the about a gigolo and an older woman and the younger gal who he's romancing, and at the end he ends up with nothing, and it's dark. It is extremely dark.
Yeah, I guess people have an idea that if it's a musical, it's all kind of sweetness and light. But just the opposite is true.
I think part of it is because of movies like maybe My Fair Lady, but boy, look at West Side Story. It doesn't get that's Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Or actually, I think Leonard Bernstein was basing it on Tromeo and Juliet, the great Troma classic, even though Tromeo and Juliet was 40 years after West Side Story. I know that Bernstein was imitating the Troma movie.
Now, when you first saw the musical, I guess, because I heard about this online for a long time. They tried it out of town. They did lots of test runs, I guess, with this show. I've seen it. I saw it in New York, and I really felt that they grabbed the spirit of the movie really well. The story is essentially the same. They've done a really good job at translating your classic onto the stage. What were your initial reactions when you saw it for the first time?
I thought it was hilarious. It was great. It was very amusing. The lyrics are absolutely hilarious. The tunes, you love them. The music is great. You sing it. It's genius because it's in New York. It's in I think a 300-seat theater, but it's full every night. Standing ovations. I've seen it several times, and people are singing the songs as they, I hear them singing at, when they leave the theater. It's, there aren't too many musicals where you go out singing the songs. So this is, and it's the wit. It's totally witty, and indeed, these guys have seen more than one Troma movie. There's references, I think, they've done a good job in this. The cartoons, Toxic Crusader cartoons, Murakami Wolf, who made the cartoons. I didn't write all. There were other writers. I wrote some of them, but the other writers clearly were looking at other Troma movies, and they would sort of synthesize some of the jokes and humor there. And it's Toxic Avenger the musical really, I think, is a classic. I think it's going to be in the fullness of time. Toxic Avenger the musical is going to be in there with the Fantastics and Little Shop of Horrors. It's wittier than Little Shop of Horrors. It's a better show.
Richard Crouse.